Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out The River by the legend that is Bruce Springsteen. Really lovely tune, great one to play and have a sing through, great one to play along with the original recording. Lots of cool stuff to check out. First thing I want to mention is the original recording is played on a 12-string guitar. The techniques and the chords are exactly the same, it just sounds a little bit cooler. So if you've got a 12-string, you'll have a lot of fun with this one, but you don't need one to be able to play the tune. There are three main sections: intro, verse and chorus. The intro and the chorus are the same every time, but the verse has a few variations at the end of the verse which I need to explain to you. A lot of it will become apparent once I've kind of mentioned it. When you listen to the original recording, you'll hear they're just minor variations, an extra bar one time and one chord that's slightly different in the first verse. The way I'd like to approach doing it is I'm going to take you through the chords first of all and make sure that you're hip with the structure, and then we'll go into a bit more detail about the rhythm and picking these notes out individually one at a time. So let's have a look at the chords in the intro. We're starting off with an E minor for one bar. Then it goes to a G. You can use any type of G you like. Then D. Then to C. A minor. To G. To C for two bars. Okay, that's the intro. E minor, G, D, C, A minor, G, C, C. It can be really helpful to have stuff like that written down, especially when we start getting a bit more complicated with the picking pattern. If you've got the chords written out there, saves you having to try and remember them. Although memorizing songs is always going to be the best thing. So let's go through the verse now. I'm going to take you through the first verse, and then I'll explain the differences between that and the other verses. So the chords for that one are E minor, to G, to D, to C. E minor, to G, to C chord, my daddy, G. Then it's C chord for two bars, and then G with an F sharp bass probably to E minor. Then it's A minor there for two bars, and then it's G for one bar, and then to C, and we go into the chorus. So the little difference there, where we had at the end of that verse we had two bars of A minor, then G and C. The more common version is A minor for one bar of G, and then two bars of C. It's the only difference. So that first verse is the last four bars are A minor, G, C before the chorus. For the second, fourth and fifth times through the verse, i.e. all of the other times except for the harmonica solo, it goes A minor, G, C, C. So it's just slightly different. On the third time through the verse, chord progression, which is where the harmonica solo is, it's exactly the same as the second, fourth and fifth time, except we add one bar of C right at the end. Okay, so at the end of that harmonica solo, there's another bar of C while he kind of finishes the melody going back into the next verse. So one little nuance that you might like to check out is sometimes, instead of playing a regular C chord like this in the verses and in the intro, he's using this C add 9. So this is nothing on the thicker string, third fret, second fret, open, third fret, open, using fingers 2, 1 and 3. Particularly when he's going from a D chord to a C, you get a really nice kind of ringing out, particularly on the 12 string. Sounds really nice. It's not used all the time, so most of the C chords are regular C chords, but it's not like super consistent where I want to say, yeah, these ones are C add 9s and these ones are regular Cs, and to be honest, it doesn't make a huge difference. So it's one of those things that you've got to make a little decision as to where you might want to try using the C add 9 and where it feels comfortable for you to do that. Let's look at the chorus chords now. So the chorus chords are E minor, one bar, C, to D, to G. Then it's back to E minor, C, D, and C again. And that's it. That's the chorus. Very, very simple. It's because it's a bit long, some of the chord sequences, particularly the verse, can be a little bit tricky to remember. It's one of those things where you've played it a few times, you'll kind of get familiar with where those minor changes to the chord progressions are in the verses, because they do really fit well with the vocals and the way it's sung. So you'll probably find that less difficult than you thought, but you do still have a bit of memorization to do. If you're going to be playing this song out or playing it at a party, it's much better to have it memorized, but you want to start by writing it down. You'll very often find writing down a chord sequence can be really helpful to remember it. You'll find you can kind of make a picture of what you wrote down, and if you write it down yourself your own way, that really helps, as opposed to getting sheet music as well, which is not necessarily a bad thing, particularly if they're JustinGuitar songbooks. That's a great thing. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about the actual way it's played now and the rhythm. If you're a really big fan of the boss, you might go through and work out exactly what notes are being picked, but it's a lot of effort for a very little reward. You're much better off learning the technique. It's something I cover in my intermediate course on my website. I call it Picked Fingerstyle. You can go and check out the lessons, or if you're over on the website already, there'll be a link in the actual lesson part for this song. The basic idea is that you keep your hand moving like you were strumming, but you're going to pick out individual notes. So if I just do it on the E minor chord, so we're just focusing on the picking now, beat 1 will always be a down pick on the bass note of the chord. The rest of it, I'm keeping my hand moving like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. But you're picking out individual notes. You don't have to pick out every one. Not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there's no, and there I'm already sort of falling into a pattern. It wants to feel a bit looser than that. So you might go, but the key is keeping the hand moving. If you can keep that hand moving all the time, so it almost feels like strumming, because it might actually become a bit strummy. You know, it's a really interesting kind of thing to learn. It's for most people a little bit of a challenging start, but easier than they think it's going to be. So the first couple of goes will be like, oh, this is really, really difficult, but a little bit of practice, half an hour practice on this, you'll find that it starts to fall under the fingers. And once you get it, it's a really, really useful technique to check out. So just even on the intro, if I now apply picked fingerstyle, so 1. I will show you some more specific stuff in a second. Even though there's not a specific pattern really, I did end up kind of doing a little bit 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and D, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, up. That is a general kind of pattern. Down, up, down, down, up, down, up. But it doesn't have to be. I don't want you to fall into it being a very specific pattern that isn't. And particularly the way that Bruce is playing it here, or Mr. Springsteen, I should call him really. There's these little kind of links that he uses in between, and sometimes chordal embellishments as well. So that step up is quite an important one. 4 and 1, going from the E minor to the G. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Down, up, down, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Open second, going up to the G. I generally would use G using fingers 2, 3 and 4, like that. I call it kind of a folk G, but if you much prefer using fingers 1, 2 and 3, that's fine as well. It's really a personal preference as to whether you're going to play G like that or like that. Even the 2 finger could be playing G like that. You quite often leave the note out on the 5th string, that's fine as well. You hear on the original recording, he finishes the last note of the G chord, he plays the 4th string, which is D, then you hear it again as the bass note for the D chord. Also for the C, he goes 1, 2, 3, he plays a bass note here, 2nd fret of the 5th string. A minor, G, G, C. Into the verse, same idea. E minor to the G chord and D to the C. E minor. Does the little walk up again there. You can walk up to the C. I don't think that's on the record, and there's a little bit of that on the original recording too, which is a lovely just hammering the second finger down on the C. And then here G, there's a little walk down, G, D with an F sharp bass, but I think it's just the F sharp bass, so just staying on the G, G with an F sharp bass I should really call it, to an E minor, A minor, A minor to G, and then to C. Now we're into the chorus. Now, if you're playing this on your own, I'd strongly suggest that you strum for the chorus to give it a different kind of feel to the verses. If you do the picked finger style right the way through the whole tune, it just gets a little bit boring. So what you want to do is have these kind of different sections where you're picking out the notes individually for the verses and then strumming it bigger for the choruses. It makes a huge difference. On the original recording, there's a strumming guitar that enters in the chorus, but there is a picked finger style guitar still playing. So the strumming guitar is additional. If you're playing on your own, you probably want to switch to strumming, almost certainly just down, down, up, up, down. That strumming pattern works great in this song. So E minor to D, C rather, D, down, up, down, G, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. You can hear it really makes a difference when you have the strumming part in the chorus and then it drops down into the verse. It's a really quite an important part. It's a long song, so if you're not doing anything different through the different sections, it'll get a little bit tedious. The structure of the song, we've got this intro, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, and then it goes back to the verse progression, but it's a harmonica solo. Usually when it's a harmonica solo, you would keep the strumming going for that because you want to keep that the kind of the energy level high so it can drop back into the verse when it goes into verse 4. Okay, so verse 3, harmonica solo, keep strumming. There's the extra bar of C at the end of the verse. Then it goes back into another verse, which is vocal, standard kind of ending there. The 2 bars of A minor, G and C. It does 2 verses there, and then it's a double chorus and then some more chorusy stuff to fade. So arrangement wise it's not particularly difficult. If you're going to sing it, probably the biggest challenge is remembering all of the words because there's quite a lot of stuff going on with that one. So I really hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you've got any comments or questions, leave them down below in the comments. If you're over on the website, if you're over on YouTube, click the link in the description, head over to the website and leave your comments over there. I'm much more likely to answer them over there. After I've said goodbye, I'm going to do a playthrough with the original recordings. I'll have the original one over in my headphones. I can't be playing along with it because of copyright stuff, but that'll give you a chance to see the whole form. Also, you might find it quite a fun thing to play along with and or solo over. If you're into, doing some more experimenting with your lead guitar, you might find this kind of thing a useful backing track for you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.